Rubik's Cube example solves. More specifically, I'm going to be doing 3 hand scrambles. The reason I'm not doing normal scrambles is because 1, someone will probably reconstruct these after the fact anyways, and 2, my computer is very far away and I don't want to run back and forth. I don't have a printer. Didn't really feel like going through the effort to scramble 3 cubes and stuff like that. So yeah, a little low effort, but my goal with this video is I'm going to be going so slow and so in depth with all of my decision making that you should understand what is going on without needing a cube to follow along. I'm going to be doing a follow-up to this video as well, so this is going to be 3 example solves trying to keep things as basic and practical as possible. And then the follow-up video will be 3 hand scrambles in the same vein, but I will be actively trying to flex advanced stuff the whole time, which will have a lot less teachable moments, but it'll be kind of cool, I guess. So there you go. This first round is a little easy. I want something that at least feels kind of difficult. Whatever, we'll go with that. Alright, so on this scramble, first thing I see, there's like the white stuff here. Looks okay. I see a pair there, so because it's an orange F12 pair, I will check orange. Don't love orange, so let's go back to white. Maybe there's an X-cross. Yeah, okay. I think X-cross on white here is the move because we have this pair here. These are all pretty solvable, and then this edge is oriented in the E-slice, and because we're going to be solving this with some sort of double turn, we should be able to effectively just manipulate things in a way that we get a pretty nice X-cross. I could also look for second pair, but I only woke up like an hour and a half ago and I haven't done any solves today, so we're just gonna not do that. So I think for a first, so my idea with these cross edges, I want to set all of this up with like U, R, D, R prime, because then I can solve this with an F2, and that gives us a cross plus 1 corner. However, that doesn't deal with this edge. And because nothing we need to worry about is in this left layer, I'm going to start with just an L2 to put it here so that the F2 does solve that edge, and then we'll go back to that idea of solving these cross edges with like a U, R, D, R prime, like so. And then F2, and then D. I immediately, if I'm like going as fast as possible, not doing an example solve, I immediately see like this. So I might do something like that, and then I see this here. In a real solve, I will probably regrip and do that, and I think that's fine. There is a non-zero chance that I would do like an edge orientation thing here, and it also keeps me in home grip, so I think there is a decent enough possibility that I might do something like that to solve this pair. Basically just like cancelling into this 5 mover, which people hopefully know by now. And then here I've obviously kind of got to rotate. This would be a really good scramble to flex actually. Because there is a really dumb way to like multi-slot these two by doing that. There is like a 0% chance I would see that in a real solve. God, even when I'm trying to be basic, I just can't help but flex. But anyways, in a real solve, I would probably rotate, like I'd be here, I'd rotate here. I would see this, I know I can do froth stuff, and I know that when I do it, this will be pretty nice to deal with. So I'd probably do like inverse sexy a couple times, cancel into sledge, and then cancel into something like that. So that is a little bit advanced technically. Yeah, it's really hard for me to keep things basic as it turns out. What's like a solid way to do these? Because the thing is like you can do triple sexy twice obviously, but I don't know, I feel like I just want to do something advanced. Like froth stuff's really good there. You could also even just do pseudo F12, like you solve one of these corners like that, and then you have a pseudo pair, and then do stuff from there. But in a real solve, this is what I would probably do. This, and then do froth stuff. And then there's this ZBLL, like if you don't know ZB, that's fine, you can just do OLL to UPerm. But here I would probably do ZB. Something like that. Alright, let's do another hand scramble. God, I feel like too much fancy stuff's already come up, so I've really gotta be on my game when I do these like pure flex solutions. Maybe I'll title the video 3 example solves, keeping things as basic as, or 3 example solves while failing to keep things basic. But I don't know, we'll see. I think it's also like scramble dependent, like sometimes like my best options are just keeping it basic. So let's hope at least one of these next two is like that. Yeah, it's a little easy. The red cross is like half done, basically. Okay, this looks tricky enough. So immediately, I see white stuff going on, like these two edges are pretty close to being solved. This is one move from solved. This is one move from solved. Actually, the whole cross can be done with RDGen, but I feel like that's a little lazy. And there's nothing super spectacular I'm seeing like on the left side, which will be preserved, that I think would justify doing kind of a lackluster cross. Green here looks a bit better. You can do like L2 F prime, U prime, R2, D2. There's potentially something here because you can make a pair with R2, but this edge is not quite where I want it. Trying to think. What else would I look at realistically? So I saw white kind of was okay with it. I think realistically I probably would have gone for white just because it's so easy, but instead of doing RDGen, I might start with like an F2. Still not amazing. Oh god, I don't know what I want to do. Oh yeah, blue's really easy. It's a 4-move cross. I probably should have... Yeah, ideally I would have seen something like this. So blue here, this edge is here, this edge is in correct relation to it, so L2 is a good move to do, and that'll make this solvable with one move. That is F prime, and then R2 here. There's a bunch of different ways you can do this cross as well. You could do like R2, L2, F prime. You could do L2, F prime, R2. Okay, by a bunch I mean there's two ways. So, but either way, it's good to explore both options. There's also like this pair here, but it's like, it's kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about it. Actually, I see a good way to set this up. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do R, which makes this pair. This is still in a good spot. L2, F prime, R. And I could do D, but I would rather do U so that this is rotationless. I would immediately see this, insert it with a U2 just because it's regripless and I don't have to do like a weird drag turn. So it's, I'd say, just better overall in that particular context. I do see this immediately, but I'm not going to just immediately do it because when I solve the pair that belongs here, so the yellow and red, this will most likely become a 3-move insert. Plus I can see this anyway, so I would likely do something like that. And then yeah, like I said, when I do this pair, this is going to be a 3-move insert. And there is a kind of fancy way to do it, but I don't think it's like unreasonable, I guess would be the word. Like I feel like you can learn this even if you're not the most like advanced solver. I think people averaging like in like the 12-second range could probably start doing stuff like this. So we're going to make this pair here. And basically the idea is as I insert this, I want to insert this at the same time. There's a couple ways we can do this. We can just do straight froth stuff, which also allows us to potentially get like edge orientation like that. There's an airplane flying over my house, which is really annoying because I live like 5 minutes from the airport. So I'm just going to let that go. Let it travel to its destination a little bit. Alright, it's not as loud now. Okay, so what I would probably do is, instead of doing froth stuff, I would just start inserting it, and then instead of doing R prime like that, I would do like fat R2 prime, F, fat R, U prime, M prime. Couple things you can do here. Through rough into U ZBLL is fine. In this case, it actually gives a really good ZBLL. But there is a good chance I would just do OLL like that, and that's fine as well because we get A perm. It's not the worst OLL, I think. I think the through rough thing is mostly useful if you have diag CP. So yeah. Yeah, this video is definitely just going to be like Jay failing to keep things basic for 3 example solves. The fancy life really did choose me. Alright, how tricky is this cross looking? Too many blocks. Okay, try this. So this will be the last one. Let's see how we go. I think at this point I've just given up on trying to keep things basic. It's so hard to when you're going slow, honestly. So for whatever reason, I saw like this edge pretty quickly, so I thought, let's check green. When you see edges like this that are like one move from solved, you can technically check like both green and yellow because they are one move for both. But usually the one it's touching is better just because you kind of have more ways to manipulate the rest of the cross. But it is good to check both if for whatever reason green didn't turn out to be super crash hot. So what I see is I can do D, R prime, F prime, and then these, all three of these are in good relation to each other. And then there's this edge here, which we can drag down with this one, so we could do like a U2 at some point. And then when we do F prime, we could do L to finish. And there's a bunch of ways we could do this. We could do like D and then the U2 immediately. We could do D, R prime, and then U2. We could even just ignore it and do like D, R prime, F prime, D2, and just rotate this way and do a R prime, FR. So there's a lot of pretty nice ways to go about this. There's also this free pair here, and like, I think it just kind of preserves itself no matter what I do, so I'm just going to do that. And then I would see for second pair, it's going to be something involving this corner and this edge, because they're going to end up somewhere around there. So cross we're going to do is just D, U2, R prime, F prime, L. Oh, my pair didn't work. Okay. Like I said, I only just woke up, but that's okay. Sometimes that happens, and I already see this right away anyways. Okay, this is an example where I'm not going to flex, because I do see this as a possible pseudo pair, but I don't think there's any chance I would see this in a real solve, or that this is like even remotely a teachable moment. So we'll save stuff like that for the next video, I guess. So I finally give myself a reason to actually do 2 of these. Excellent. Oh, there's another pseudo pair. Cool. But yeah, we're just going to do this. I think this ends up being like a 5 mover because of this empty slot, so that's chill. So do that, and this is a 5 mover. Make sure you do these 5 movers, they're really good. This ends up being a free pair, and yeah, we're going to get free EO just because this case that's coming up, like, you can just kind of always manipulate EO. This block's also going to preserve. I feel like we're going to get a pretty easy ZB out of this. So you can do these intuitively like that, like you just kind of bring the pair out while putting the flipped edge in, but for this case I think you do want to be doing sledge and then insert. And in this case it's just R prime, Y prime, R. Very easy ZB to recognize. Headlights, headlights, big old block. When you do R prime you can kind of see that these 2 corners swap and these 2 edges swap. So yeah, it's literally just that. Alright, so there's 3 basic quote-unquote example solves, and I'm going to hit stop on the record. I'm going to do this again, and I'm going to do my darndest to flex. So we'll see how that goes.